couple weeks, I'm just going to kind of give a little story here. The last couple weeks, I've been doing a kind of a how I get deals done sales intensive program that just wrapped up on Tuesday. It was really good, and I've got some really good feedback, and I want to share some things with everyone here today. And I've already gotten some feedback of just in the 3 weeks that I've been running this, of some great people that are already doing more deals and bigger deals, and because of this intensive. Hello, Stephen Jack Vitala, how are you?
Good, Jill. Thank you. Thanks for having me on again.
Well, just so you know, I changed it. I changed everything in here so it shows in the description that it's hosted by us, not
Good.
just me, since you have officially been showing up, and thank you very much, and
Absolutely.
embracing the Clubhouse world. So that it's now our thing. So I'm really glad. So if you're just finding us and just learning about us, I'll give you a little backstory. I'm Jill DeWitt, and here's my partner, Stephen Jack Vitala. You can read our bios, and please reach out to us if with everything that we do. We provide a lot of free content, so Clubhouse just comes naturally to us. So we've been you since the 90s, me well over a decade, doing deals, all kinds of deals. Like I have a couple decades of sales experience, but we're not going to go into that right now. But you've been doing basically real estate investing as running your own show and your own companies for decades. And so we are here to help you and share with you. We've been doing this for a while, helping and giving back and sharing via Land Academy and House Academy and our podcast now for, is it going to be 6 years or 7 years? I can't keep track.
It's 7, honestly.
Is it going on 7 years? Oh my gosh. Okay, thank you, Erin. It's a while. So it's so nice because now it used to be when we first started, people would be like, okay, who are you and how can I get behind you? And now with going on 7 years of quality people and investors that are some making more money than we are, we all go, okay, we don't even have to ask that question anymore. That's a given. So I love Clubhouse, and I know, Stephen, you do too, because it's like our podcast, but you get to ask questions right away. Makes me so happy. So any moment you want to ask anything, raise your hand, bring it. I know we got more people that are going to join in. We adjusted the time. This is a new time slot for us because we found out that this is when a lot of you professional investors are available, and it makes sense to you. So here we are. Today we are going to talk about some real estate investor selling tips. And so I have my own. I know, Stephen, I know you have input, and I want to hear what you have to say too. Any thoughts, questions, new ideas you have that you can share with me and the group here, bring it. I love it. So
excellent.
How are you going? How is everything?
Everything's good. I think it might be fun to start the call off by taking a few steps, or maybe 10 or 15 or 20 steps back, and talking about what this show is really about. This talk, I guess, on Clubhouse, and how it reflects Land Academy, and what the Land Academy philosophy is, and why I think, and I'm really phrasing this as a question to you as the host, why people in our group seem to do very, very well with it. This isn't a commercial at all, but I do think it's like we were talking about earlier today, Jill. We have a really special, what we've created here is pretty special, and it's not for everybody. So I was wondering if you could take maybe 10 or 15 or 20 steps back and just describe what we do about mail campaigns and how to answer the phone and all of that, your perception of it.
My perception? I like how you word this. In a nutshell, we believe that you shouldn't work that hard to get deals in your inbox. And you should be leading the ship, picking areas, picking deals, and putting everything together. So how we do it, and this I say this with love, Stephen, so you don't shoot me on this. I kind of describe how you came up with the direct mail way of doing this out of volume and laziness a little bit. That because you perfected this. You came up a long time ago in your commercial real estate background, and you decided that I shouldn't be picking up the phone and calling these people like this. I should be blasting it to the planet and seeing who wants to sell and letting them come to me. And that's what you did. And back then it was overnight faxes because it was the cheapest and the most efficient that you could blast everybody who owned, the nursing home community that you were trying to buy properties for at the time in your commercial period, and seeing who came forward. And so fast forward to today, we now do it via direct mail, and we now blast sellers. They don't know they're not actively selling, by the way. Let me back up. We blast property owners letters by the thousands in the areas that we identify that we want to buy for the exact property type at the dollars we want to spend, and then just wait for them to call us back or sign the offers and send it back because they do. That's it. So I every day wake up and just kind of check the mail, check my email, check my answering, my voicemail, and answer the phone. More importantly, answer the phone. If it's at, 4 a.m., I'm not going to answer, but I'll sure call them back at 7:30 a.m. when I'm getting up and rolling and saying, yeah, I did send you that letter. I do want to buy your land. Let's talk. And that's how we do it. And then it grew up fast forward to our community. Do you want me to keep going? Do you like this? It's kind of funny. I'll fast forward.
Do I like it?
Yeah. Is this what you were trying to pull out of me?
No, not at all.
Oh, sorry. Go.
Here's what our philosophy. I think real estate in general and real estate investment has a long version of roots in waiting for someone like a broker or a real estate agent to call you as an investor or a real estate owner and say, hey, I've got this property for sale. Do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it? Do you want to buy it? And I really think that has been its roots until really recently, recently up to the point where the internet kicked in, where we don't have to do that anymore. You can actually reach a tremendous number of people with a direct mail campaign offering to buy their property, and you don't have to wait for a broker to call you and be sold something. So that's really the roots of what we have, what we've created in Land Academy is that. So I'm grossly oversimplifying. That's the front end. And every real estate, or let's just say in every sales effort, I don't care what you're selling or buying, you have to have like a funnel of potential acquisitions. And so the larger that funnel in the front, the more opportunities you're going to have to purchase property. And it's real hard. I think traditionally it's been a one-off review. And now I think we've created an environment where, I've been doing this for 20 years, where there's a lot more acquisition opportunity. And so what we've been focusing on lately, and rightfully so, and what this episode or what this talk is about today is okay, great. I'm personally good at generating. I'm making Jill's phone ring. What this episode is really about is what to do when it rings. And so we got that licked. And what Jill does has always sort of been a mystery to me in a positive way. So your phone's ringing, Jill. What happens?
I answer it. No, you think that's funny. It's true. How many people don't do that? They don't answer the phone on the buy side and the sell side. I'm not kidding. They're afraid, You answer the phone, and I befriend them. That's one of my things. In 30 seconds or less, my goal is to connect with these people, and if it's a seller, see if we're on the same page, get to the bottom, whatever their money is, and if they really want to sell, what's their number. If it's a buyer, quickly find out, do I have what they want? Because I don't want to waste anybody's time, including my own. So that's what I do. Ask me some more questions. I like this.
Okay. So, this was prompted because Jill and I spent some time in the car together yesterday listening to some speakers that are very prevalent in the business motivation space. That's probably not how I correctly describe it, but that's what I think it is. And what this person in particular was really talking about for hours, it seemed like, which is what our listeners here probably say about us. It's like they're talking for hours. It seems like it. Talking about how important people are and how people are both employees or people that work with each other, colleagues, and customers. And I think that really gets overlooked. And I think that's what this is about. So, what's your synopsis on that, Joe?
Say it again. I'm sorry. I didn't understand the question.
Why do you think people are important in real estate?
Oh my gosh. It's relationships. That's it. It's really about relationships. I mean, we can talk more about this. I want to kind of move into the topic for today because I know there's a lot of people here that are like, okay, this is an interesting conversation, but I really want to hear some investor selling tips. So I'm going to steer it that way for a little bit, and then I'm happy to come back because I know we're going to end there into a free-flowing discussion. So again, any moment you want to, I'm going to reset the room here real quick. So I'm Jill DeWitt, and I'm here with Steve and Jack Butala. We are Land Academy. Check our bios. And make sure too that as we start talking, I give some tips. Anybody that you think might benefit from this, please ping them and invite them into the room. Make sure you connect with anybody here. Make sure you follow them, follow Land Investing, so you know when we have new times and new content or new talks that you get alerted to this stuff. So I want to talk today about real estate investor selling tips because I have 3 biggies that I wrote down that I am constantly, and I'm not kidding, constantly seeing missed. And I can tell who's an investor. I know you all know when you go into Zillow, you know who it's a professional agent who has a listing, right? You can tell because it says their name maybe on the photo, maybe there's a watermark, maybe at the bottom of the listing. You can just pull up the listing and read it and it says this is, hosted by, so and so from Sotheby's or whatever. So how many times have you go in there and you're looking at professional people that this is their business and they're selling property, and then you're looking at their posting and you're like, they have 3 pictures. 3. Really? 3. And one of them is like a plat map or like just one clearly like a Google Earth snapshot, snag it or something, and they with the boundaries on there, and like, okay, I'm supposed to find it with this. You've got it. And then they have one little paragraph, maybe. Sometimes they don't. I've seen like, 2, 3 lines. Seller motivated or whatever it is. Like, come on, tell me how great this thing is. I need more than the 3 pictures. I need something great about it. Is there no HOA? Okay, that needs to be celebrated. And what's possible out there. Look at what people have built. Look at the ranches around this. Look at how close it is to Nashville, Dallas, dream it up, whatever it is, Atlanta. So many people miss it. So my number one real estate selling tip is spend the effort, make it look great. I recently picked a guy, a broker to do some postings for me because I fell out of my chair because it was beautiful. And the guy actually took the time and put drone shots in there. He's like, yeah, I'm now doing that on all of my listings. I'm like, thank you. I appreciate you. Number one, he answered the phone, and that's one of my things too here. But the postings look great. He's a land guy, and in our world, it's hard to find sometimes really good land focused brokers. But it used to be, I should say, it's becoming more prevalent now, and I love it. I think back in the day, you know, they didn't know what to do with us, A, and B, the commissions. So they will charge more. I'm going to tell you right now. Some of the good ones, just get ready to pay 10%, but the good ones are worth it, like the Whitetail Properties guys and the Mossy Oak property guys. They will literally show up and put people on horseback or ATVs and ride the properties with them. So if you're doing that for me, I'm going to pay you the 10% because we're commanding a high dollar amount on these properties too. So that's my number one real estate investor selling tip. Make your posting look great. And I don't care if it's a house, even houses. We all know you see house listings like that's it. We have one shot from the street. That's all you're doing. We are living right now in a very hot part of the Phoenix area, and man, these things are going under contract in less than 10 days, and they're priced in the millions. And I still see some of them with photos of them like, okay, I would be kind of embarrassed with that one. Like, you are lucky you got the people to show up. I think the people showed up because they know the area. They're trolling the area. They know what the dirt alone is worth. They don't care about the inside, but you probably could have done better. You could have got even more bang for your buck by making it look great. And I learned it from you, Stephen. You long ago, when I first learned from you, Truth Time, I I didn't fall into this on my own and figure it out, and then we joined forces. No, I learned it from Stephen, and that has always been one of your things. And you remember you used to have like a checklist of I want a picture looking this way, that way, this way. I want blue sky. I want no snow on the ground. You developed it. So how was it? Did you know it right away? Like, did you do what I did? Like, had a light bulb moment and like, this is stupid.
Honestly, by the time that you and I joined forces, I had years and years and years of fielding questions on the internet from potential customers, both buyers and sellers of land. And so it was just the culmination of tiny little failures along the way to the point where it's like, now I've got a good checklist to really answer everybody's questions or provide enough information, real information in a real estate posting that answers questions and is also intriguing, and that all starts with buying good property. And so sales is easy and acquisitions are easy when you're looking at a great deal.
Ding, ding. Exactly. So that's number one, make it look great. My number two real estate investor selling tip is blast it everywhere. Again, it's not rocket science. Stephen calls it reach. And I believe this. This has been Stephen's mantra for a long time. The only reason a property's not selling is it's priced wrong, aka you paid too much, and B, you're not reaching the right people. And I'll give you some tips here on reach, not just social media, not just Zillow, and everywhere you can do on your on your own. Loop in a flat rate MLS place like brokerdirectmls.com. Do your email buyers list. As you get going, you're going to build up a list of buyers. We call it our Platinum Buyers Club. Email these guys. Neighbor letters. How about other investors that you dug up while you're in Land Watch trying to get pricing and you see the signature Land Watch people? Put them on your email list and let them unsubscribe if they don't want it. They won't. How many lists are you and I on, Stephen? Isn't it funny? I was just looking at the other day. I'm getting downtown Los Angeles commercial building real estate things because they put me on their list and I leave it there. I want to see what they're selling for.
Yeah, I have several. You can go on to places like realtor.com or Zillow, sign up. This is all free, of course, and put your parameters in. Like, I like these 5 zip codes. I like this price, and this price per square foot on some of the apps. And when some stuff comes up for sale, when it gets listed, notify me.
Yeah.
It's shocking. If you set your parameters right for the perfect acquisition for you, once a month something will come up and you just jump all over it. So yeah, I'm on a lot of lists too, and I pay attention to them.
Okay, truth time. Do you pay more attention to the car list that you're on or the real estate list that you're on?
The cars.
Okay, and please tell us. Okay, please share with us for a moment here. What are your car buying parameters that's on your list?
Okay, ready?
Yeah, ready.
You know what, Joey, who's the producer here, this is Joey's our marketing and by default our producer here. And every time I get together with Joey, we crack a beer. We don't live in the same city anymore, unfortunately, but all we talk about is cars. And
Bring it. Okay, you two talk right now. Tell me what you guys are both wanting to buy. Go.
Joey, what's in your garage right now? Oh, his audio's not working, or I can't hear it.
Yeah, good.
Okay, go ahead.
So currently, right now, it's a '67 Mercury Cougar, a 1971 Chevy C10, and then right now in the shop, a '69 Pontiac Le Mans. But that one's getting the uh, we're putting an engine from a 2009 Chevy truck in it.
That's the judged body style, right? The Le Mans.
Yes. Yeah.
So my parameters for cars, and I'll tell you, I'm not plugging anything. We're not have no affiliation, but there's this website called Beverly Hills Car. You can buy cars; they're all on consignment. It's one of the cheapest places that I've seen. So I have my parameters set like, oh, it's got to be model year between 1958 and 1984. It's got to be a convertible with a manual transmission. I don't care about miles, and it has to be American. And so, and then I've got, they have levels of parameters. We should do this in real estate. Levels of notifications. Like I want to see every single, regardless of year or anything, I want to see every single Chevy car. And even if it's, really old or really new.
I love it. That's awesome.
Great offshoot there, Joe.
I know. I personally we saw this Mercedes Gullwing, old one the other day, and like, oh boy. And then we were chasing down two of them. Remember, you found them was it on OfferUp? I can't remember what it was. Turns out they weren't real because, trust me, I was blowing up these guys' phone.
So, I mean, to bring it back on track, this is a great question. I get this emotional and excited about land acquisitions too. Not all of them, but certainly not all of them. Maybe 1 in 40 or 50 where it's like we stop everything we're doing. It hits one of our radars, either Jill's or mine.
Yeah.
And we stop everything we do and we review it. The whole process takes maybe less than a minute, and then we buy it or sell it. Whether it comes in, very rarely it's on the MLS already. And the ones that are on the MLS, we minor split that, and they're set up, I call special use properties. So, this whole business of putting yourself on lists, or it's really Reach. It's a version of Reach. It really, really works.
Yeah,
it does. Oh, that's super cool. Yep, that's so good. So that's number 2.
Yeah.
So make it look great. My real estate investor selling tips. Please ask questions and join in, everyone. Just raise your hand. You guys are all kicking back and are probably eating lunch and just listening to Steve and I just gab. So, but we'd love to talk to you too. So make it look great. Blast it everywhere. And then my number 3 is answer the phone. So many people are still, that was a lot of the stuff that we talked about in my intensive the last 3 weeks was, I think I gave a lot of information to help people overcome the fear of what people are going to ask, what people are going to want to know, how the calls typically flow, things like that, what I have learned, and some of my wording and my, the verbiage that I use so they can, copy that. And a lot of it is the fear of answering the phone. And this also ties into what you and I were talking about today, Stephen, about these personality tests. You do, until you can afford it, it might be you. And the more you answer the phone and get over this, the better. You got it, And I understand, Stephen's going to weigh in on this here too. That may not be what you're great at. How did you overcome not being? Let's truth time here. Stephen does not like answering the phone. He's very loud about that. And we joke about it in the office, back when we were all in the office too. Don't let him near a phone. Go.
Well, yeah, by the time you and I joined forces again, I was pretty sour about customers in general. So anyway, take a couple steps back here. And this is all, I'm saying this because I don't want people to feel bad about themselves. We're listening to this guy talk about how people matter and the technical stuff and the technical side of everything. And I'm the technical side of everything. And my role in all this is secondary. What really matters is people. And actually, I agree with that. And if you asked me this a year ago, I would not have agreed with it. But after being an employer and, dealing with the volume of sellers and buyers that we deal with and now Land Academy members, people really do matter. In fact, it drives a business. But what he kept saying is, you need to understand this. You need to understand that people are, and then there's no MBA course that talks about psychological, with the psychology of staff or customers. And he's right. He was totally right. What he left out is this, and this is the question that I had, and it didn't get answered, and it won't get answered. What if you have the personality type where you just can't deal with people, which is prevalent? It's very prevalent in the accounting field and things like mechanical engineering. So what do you do? And my answer is this. You associate yourself somehow. Like I've associated myself with Jill, to where somebody who does take one of those personality tests actually enjoys it. But until then, you got to deal with it. You really have to take a class or get some professional help about how to deal with people, or else you're just not going to move forward.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. One of the things I took away from yesterday was it was kind of not, you never want to be that person that walks around saying, I told you so. But when I came up with this, I don't think you really liked my, how do I say this? I don't know remember when I came up with my 70-30 thing and I put relationships at 70 and I put data at 30?
I love
you were
that.
like,
I remember
no,
that.
no.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah. And so now I can kind of sit back and let other people say it. Because it's true. I can solve a lot, talking to people. I can solve a lot of problems right away there. So, hey, 718 Legacy. I love it. How are you? You should be able to.
Great. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
I have a question for you guys.
Sure.
Okay, so I do real estate, and I own my home. I have 100% equity in my home. My house is paid off. My house is probably worth like a
Congrats.
$250,000.
Nice.
So what I wanted to know is, I've been kind of scared to like invest and do things with it. I wanted to know, is it possible that I could like draw um, money off of my home to purchase investment property?
I know what I would do. Do you want to go first, Stephen?
Yes.
Well,
What would you do? I would like to know.
I mean,
I mean, my
I
car is.
know.
I have no bills right now,
Well,
except
I keep Jill and I are
except utilities.
Okay.
Jill and I are going to answer this the same way.
Uh-huh.
Please don't go backwards.
Don't use your money.
You won. You already
Mm-hmm.
won if you don't have any bills, except the normal stuff.
Okay.
The truth is, and I'm not here to sell anything. We've created a group within Land Academy where when you find a good deal, you partnership with somebody else. And so somebody else in the group's got a ton of money. That's their business is creating partnerships. You find a great deal, you buy it for, you buying the property for 30. In our world, that we buy properties for 30,000 and sell them for 90. You don't have the 30,000 bucks, or you don't want to leverage yourself like you're talking about. So you go find a business partner. He fronts the $30,000. You do the deal, and you split the profit. And so we've been doing that for years in Land Academy. And actually, Jill and I sat down to write the podcast topics that we're going to record next week, and one of them is about this: how Land Academy is really now fully into third gear, which is all of us are working together, and that's why we originally created it. So no, man, I would not in any way change your personal leverage situation.
Okay. Okay. Because what I had in mind, in the area I live, they're selling condos. You get a condo for like $50,000, $60,000, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and they're renting for like $850 a month. So, I was thinking maybe, if I could draw some money off my house and purchase that, or you think I should get a loan to purchase it?
Can I jump in here?
Please.
Okay. Here's what I would do. Think about the math here. So you take out a loan. I'm not going to get that deep into numbers, but you borrow the $50,000, you do a home equity, whatever, to get the $50,000 to make $800 a month, to pay back that loan, and to make a little money on the top of it, right? Maybe you're making $200 or so a month, 200 to 300, a month. How long is it going to take you to get to $60,000? a heck of a long time versus, you look at some other asset like we just talked about. Like, well, let's just back up right now. There's so many other ways to make money in real estate that are easier and more straightforward. Like just buying, like the description that Stephen just said. What if you went out and found a great deal? You got somebody like me. I'll put up the $30,000, and then we sell it for $90,000. You and I are going to split the profit. Two of those, you got your 50. Go buy the dumb house if you really want to, and you can park that money over there. Oh, and then just think about this. After a couple of deals with me, though, and you're watching your bank account grow and you realize how easy it is, and you're not dealing with anybody that says my washing machine doesn't work, you might make some different decisions too. Either way, you got a bunch of cash and you can really go, now what do I want to do? So I think there's a lot of HGTV and a lot of, I hate to call it noise, but I think it's noise out there. People are getting all romantic about remodeling and this and that and stuff, but it's a slow, long, hard process, and we've done it. Hey, been there, done that.
Yeah,
And
don't even
trying to
talk to
save
me
you.
about HGTV. I have to compete with so many husband and wife realtors. It's a shame.
Exactly. And it's like, oh my gosh. Do you really want to be picking in Home Depot tomorrow with your condo? Not me, man.
I know.
So that's the thing. And I can say that because we did it. We have so Stephen and I together have, I'll just say, at least 30 years of mistakes to help you. So no matter
So
what.
so basically, if you owned your house right flat out, what would you do?
Mhm.
I mean, if you had no other, because see, I don't have like a lot of cash on hand. I just own stuff, and I
I'd
know
just
in
be
your
working on my
world,
bank balance.
yeah, and I know in you guys, in your world, that's a bad thing. You guys, but I own everything.
No, that's the way we are. Oh, let me back up. We have built our little empire, if you will, from day one, not borrowing any money. So that I want to back up here, and that's part of the thing why people are like, who are the heck are you guys? That's not our game. I don't. Hey, back in the day, we bought properties for $1,000, maybe less, because we were selling them for $3,000. It was a long haul, but we got here. So we do not believe in borrowing money. So that's my thing too. That's partially now you don't have to. And then number two is I don't want you to. And when we started Land Academy, we were very loud about that. I said, you need to be able to come into this. If you want to do what we do, hey, so what if you only save up $10,000 to get started? Fine, that's all you can afford. So what? You spend 90 days, turn your 10,000 into 20,000, and then you spend 90 more days, turn your 20,000 into 40,000. Now you can start making some different decisions, buying bigger and better properties, that kind of thing. This is before we were funding and had this community to fund. So I am not about borrowing money at all.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what's I think interesting about us too. People come to us and they think like we're not your normal wholesalers. Like we don't assign contracts. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't believe in that. If the deal's good enough, I'm buying it. My name's on the deed. Every property that we have, we flat out buy it. So that's it.
Well, I do real estate in Fayetteville, North Carolina. So, if you
Mhm.
guys want to purchase some properties out here,
Well,
it's
happily. Well, I mean that's the truth. I tell you, people come to us all the time to fund their deals, and if it's a great deal, I'm going to fund it. But I'm not a long-term person, so
I hear you.
if
I hear you.
that's it. So if you come to me and say, "All right, you're not going to believe this. I've just found this half-acre infill lot, and this place is hopping. These buyers are chomping at the bit, and this seller, I sent them an offer. I can't believe they're buying it." I would be selling something right now, but you told me not to use my own money. We have to take this down. We have to buy this. I'd be like, done, done, and done. But our whole goal is we're going to turn around and quickly double our money and sell it to a builder, and he's going to do all the work.
What kind of return are you guys like expecting? Like, what's your threshold?
Double my money.
Double your money. I hear
Hmm.
that.
I want to buy it for. I want to
You
buy it
said that
for
fast.
20. Yeah, because you can find them. I want to buy it for 20,000. because the dirt's worth $40,000. And this builder is jumping up and down because everything else he's buying in this area is $50,000 and $60,000. So for my $40,000 deal, he's like, holy cow. And then he's going to put a couple $100,000, whatever, $100,000 in or whatever, and then sell it for like, I don't know, $250,000, $300,000.
Yeah.
He wins.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You got to think about, you know, Steven's famous for this. Steven's famous for working it backwards. I guess, so that's it. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Do you want to own a bunch of condos and that's your goal? I get it. Then
No, my goal is to have residual income of at least $5,000 a month.
okay, I can do that. So there you go. Just what deals. Justice can help on this too. Hey, Justice, how are you? Justin's is in our world. I'm sure he can shed some light, and he may have a question. Oh, I didn't catch Justice off guard. There you are. Hi.
No, yeah, sorry. I was like following some of those speakers.
Oh, you're
How are
good.
your November going?
Great. How about
That's
you?
good. That's good. It's always good every year,
Uh-huh.
particularly November. But yeah, you know what? Hearing your guys' topic here, it kind of brought a question in my mind. I know that you guys understand your strengths. I'm talking specifically to you, Stephen, and you. You guys understand your strengths and you understand where you would place yourself in the business. I'm curious on how your strengths have developed structurally throughout the years that you've been doing this. So you probably understood what you're good at, what you like doing, and what you're comfortable with. But how has that changed over time with throughout the years of your experience? I'm curious, and then because I'm really trying to do the exact same thing and just finding my what I'm not good at, and I'm actually more on the lines comfortable with sales and marketing opposed to data. I was just screaming in my head yesterday on, oh man, I just don't like looking at these files, and I'd rather be on the phone. I'd rather be in person with somebody or some just talking and not necessarily on a computer. But obviously, I know that is something that I have to do. So I'm wondering how this concept has grown between you two over time.
Boy, Jill, may I?
Yes, go for it. I want you to go first.
I'll tell you a story. When I got out of college, I went into full commission real estate, commercial real estate agent, commercial real estate brokerage. And I'll never forget the guy that this is a very long time ago, before the prevalence of the internet at all. In fact, we were all just there was no internet, and if there was, you plugged it into the phone jack, and nobody knew how to use it. And so I'll never forget the day that the guy, my supervisors, literally slammed the phone book down on my desk, and he said, "Start calling. That this is your first day. Good luck." And so I knew from that moment that that was not going to work for me from a personality standpoint. I'm not going to cold call anybody, and I knew that the days of cold calling were over. So what I was really good at, and I'm still pretty good at, relatively, is the computer part of stuff. So I figured out a way. Jill alluded to it earlier. Through a lot of failing at cold calling and hating it and hating going to work, that I was good at reaching people by sending faxes and stuff. Back then it was faxes before we had the prevalence of email, to people who own property from a database standpoint. And it worked. I could get the fax numbers for real estate agents. I could get the fax numbers for people who owned long-term care facilities. It's not that I chose those product types. They chose me because they had the data. The data was available. And so, I still to this day look in the mirror and ask myself where, we're in a planning mode. We're in planning mode for 2022, Jill and I. So we're talking about this a lot. Like, what do we want to do? We make enough of a staff in place and all of that. What do we want our 2022 to look like? And at my age specifically, I'm tired of doing stuff I don't want to do. I love teaching, and it pays the bills. So I'm that's what I'm going to focus on in 2022. The the buying and selling land component of our company is pretty much on autopilot. And so that's once in a while I have to step in when something's really great or something's falling apart. But, I think that you don't, this is a big misconception that a lot of young people have in life. There's no like utopian place where you stop and say, I'm done. I made it. The cars that I want are in the garage. The kids that I want are grown up, and it's just a constant thing. So I really think
some
that
people do that though.
I think you should have a super, super honest conversation, Justice, with yourself in front of the mirror about what you're good at, what you're not, and then put other people in place. Go ahead, Jill.
I was going to add, well, I'm thinking about what changed, Justice. That's how I heard the question. Like, what are you doing differently now that you know what you're good at and what you're not good at? And I think for me, one of the things is I stopped doing deals that made me mad or frustrated or just too hard. Like I'm way pickier, if you will, going forward. Like I feel bad, but there's deals that are just too small. Period. I'm not, because I know what time's involved in it. Am I going to work this hard for $3,000? No. For $30,000? Yes, because it's the same amount of work. Sometimes it's even easier on the bigger deals. So that's something that's changed. When we did this, I think this is very timely because I'll tell you, Justice, not an hour ago, we were literally having a little partners meeting in our bathroom. Why that happens there, but it does. There's a nice little seat. Every bathroom we have, I always make sure there's somewhere to sit because this is where we launch into these conversations. And I'm like, I'm not messing around. I had a light bulb moment. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. Like right now, I need some help. I need some hardcore help in my world, and not just in my, around here, but selling help. Our team needs to grow. There's so many things we're working on. Aaron interviewed with this TV producer who wants to talk to us, which sounds like it might be something. We're going to explore this next week further. I'm like, okay, I need, and if this comes to fruition, I'm going to need some help. So I'm pulling out the stops now. And one of the things I'm doing, like, I've found this person that I'm going to steal. I'm going to do my best to steal this person from another company. And it's not a land company, I'll tell you right now. It's nothing in our world. But this person I've come along encounter with gets stuff done. So those are the things that I've changed. And maybe it's the same thing like you're saying, Stephen. It's having a chat with yourself in the mirror, whether it's about what are you going to do different today and what have you learned, and what are you going to do different in your career and what have you learned.
My guess, Justice, is that you have all the answers right now. You're just not sure about how to make it happen.
Yeah, it's the past few weeks I've been just writing a list of my strengths and what I'm good at.
Can you share them with us?
I think I'm like very obsessive. I like to.
That's on the strength side?
Yeah, I think so. Well, when it comes to, I think it's a good strength for me because I just keep pushing, and I guess it could become a weakness in some aspect because I do get very zoned in to certain things and start tweaking out on just topics. Particularly gravitates to me to sales and marketing, but. And I definitely like, I guess it could be, speaking on the phone is a very interesting topic. I mean, honestly, if I was going to be completely honest with you, I don't really like any of the stages of this business. And,
but it makes money, so here I am.
But it makes money, and the most thing I'm comfortable with is on the phone. I used to do a lot of door-to-door sales, so it was strange. It's been a strange process because I was very timid, scared to speak to just random people. And then once I knocked on my first door, I was forced to learn a different way, and it grew almost a passion for some speaking in some aspect. But yeah, there's multiple different other things. And I'm just trying to go through this journey to figure out what I'm good at and then see what other people are good at and it's an interesting topic that you guys have here with selling, because I'm interviewing a sales rep right now. And one thing I immediately notice is that he goes about the sales a little bit differently. I'm more of a customer service orientated person. I'm just going to jump out of my way to provide as much customer service help and value as possible. But I don't really relate so much with people, which is, I think, could be a weakness of mine. I'm more on the end of professionalism. But he's the opposite, and he more relates, sits there and talks to you more as a friend and a family member, but not so as professional. So I thought it was an interesting retrospect of speaking with this guy, and I think I was going to move forward with him because of that aspect, because he kind of fills in some gaps that I have. And
I like that.
mhm.
That's
and
kind of me. Like I try to befriend them. I try to I love that the way you worded all that. I try to befriend them, and the customer service thing, I'm a huge fan of that too. Like I take it when they're calling me, they have some questions. I'm really nice about the questions and getting to know them a bit, and then at the very end, try to make it happen. Then go in for the sale.
I mean, I
Are you
think
in
that
it or
you're in a
not?
much, yeah, I'm sorry, Joe. I think that, Justice, you're in a much more valued and necessary situation than most of the people that are in Atlanta Academy like me. I think it's easy to find a Jack within the Land Academy environment and hard to find a Jill. And so I think you should make yourself available in Discord as a person that wants to close other people's deals and answer the phone. I think that you're going to get barraged with people like me that are like, let's do it. I'll send out
Oh, wow,
50,000 units right now. I mean it.
that's good. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, Discord is so helpful. I just want to let you guys know. I was just listening to your garage sale the other day too. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything you're doing in there. And
So let's get back to the fact that you don't like any part of this business at all, because I
This is
just think that's the
awesome.
greatest thing I've ever
This
heard.
is
So can you
truth
rank the
time.
parts of this business as they relate to your level of disgust?
I would say looking at Excel files for sure.
That's the
Um,
worst.
yeah, that would probably be my worst. Uh,
This is the best
Immediately,
Discord.
um,
Joe, this is the
organize.
best. I got to interrupt you. This is the best episode
I love it.
on
Exactly.
Clubhouse that I've ever been a part of. Go ahead.
Justice, I'm right there with you. Go.
Yeah, and it's just organization. Um, trying to figure out systems. Like, even though I'm obsessive and I try to figure out systems all day long. I just can't. It's such a weakness of mine that I can't piece it together in my mind. I don't know if it's my experience or what, but I just know that one thing I'm good at is getting on the phone with somebody. I have no fear of doing that. I could do that all day long. And like I said, I think I might have mentioned to you guys before, I opened up an office and I would just close people at a table, and I made a lot higher. I could sell the properties at a retail value opposed to a way higher retail value, even more than retail, opposed to maybe like a wholesale price. But everything else other than those things is what I don't like doing. So it's, I mean, I bear with it because I mean, I think just sending mail is probably the most important thing of this business and understanding where you're sending it. Um, but I'm like trying to listen to what you two are saying, and it's really been dawning on me. Um, just finding those people that are really good at what you're not. And I had another a question for you two, and that would be, do you look into any type of personality assessment test in any way or form when it comes to onboarding people and
Yes.
yourselves? And if you do, what personality assessment do you look at?
Aaron can weigh in on this too. I just found the Enneagram. Um, have you not heard of that? Where you're ranked, you're 1 through 9. You take this test. It's like, I don't know, 20 minutes. My girlfriend talked me into it, and it was like, and I thought I was 1, like a 1, which is like a perfectionist kind of thing. I'm not that at all. What's so funny, so I took this test, loved it. I mean, I had this book, I'm reading all of the stuff about it, and I'm talking about it nonstop. So we made Steven take it. He's an 8, by the way. So this is now a part of Career Path too, by
Yeah,
the way.
it's part of our whole program now is to
Uh-huh.
take these tests, and I was really really had a lot to say in a negative way when this whole thing came up. And no, I mean, you need to, like Jill and I took these personality tests, very 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 different, and that's what it takes. You know, you're going to be on Jill's side of the whole thing. I used to think before these tests and before we went through all this that the only reason that people really wanted to sell anything, get up in the morning and be in sales, is that they didn't understand the technical side of things, and that's just that was the hand that the universe dealt them. And I know now from these tests and teaching at Land Academy that that's really what they want to do, that, and they're rewarded that way. So I can't say enough good stuff about these tests. Joe, what's the name of that test specifically?
It's Enneagram. You know what's funny? I'm looking it up right now. You should check this out, Justin. We did Career Path session number 1. We made everybody take this Enneagram test. There was like 80 to 85% were all 8s. I'm like, I knew it. I knew you guys were all like this. I could just tell, especially with the first Career Path. We shook it up a little bit in Career Path number 2, and then Career Path number 3 is going to come in January. So if you're going to be in Career Path number 3, be ready for this test. It's really cool. So these 8s are called the Challenger, and they are strong and powerful, and they seek to stand up for what they believe in. They focus on controlling their environment. It's really kind of funny. So Truth Time.
How's that for not healthy, by the way?
Right?
I was trying to think of a joke, so.
I forgot I'm a 7. I am as strong as 7. I am the enthusiast, everyone. No kidding. We want to have as much fun and adventure as possible and are easily bored. Stephen always says, I'm going to try to give this to you in a soundbite because I know I'm going to lose you. So it's so true. And I try to avoid pain and sadness, it says, by staying busy. Totally true.
It's interesting. I'm really glad you guys mentioned the Enneagram because that's the one I was hoping you would say. My girlfriend is actually obsessed with the Enneagram. And ever since I knew her, that was one of the first things that stood out was she started talking about this thing. This was years ago. And I don't think a lot of people really knew about it. And I didn't know about it for sure. I thought it was more just like a label on your personality. But the more I think of it now, it's just like it really resonates with me and a lot of people I know. And since I was speaking to you two on Clubhouse, we were trying to figure out what your types were on the Enneagram. And I know my type, which is most likely, it's like almost easy. It's like a 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought you were a 7, Jill. And then Jack was actually either, I think, a 5 or a 6.
Oh.
And that's what and it's hard to really kind of judge it because you don't really know,
That's what I love about it, because you presuppose what you think a lot of this stuff is, just like in what we do at Land Academy. You think you know this stuff, but until you get into the data or until you answer the phone or really get involved, you really don't know. And that's life. Until you're standing in there, and it's up to your knees in it, you don't really know.
Right. And I just thought it was, it's interesting you're putting that into the career path too. And that really is a validation, to me. And I'm really seeing like, it's not so great for me. And this goes alongside the selling tips and, knowing your strengths and weaknesses. 'Cause another 3 would not, I'm just saying this in Enneagram terms, I guess, but another 3 is not going to help me as much as say a 5 or something like that, or say somebody else that would be stronger in another area of the mind. And that's all interesting stuff.
It ended up not quite working in that format, but we actually tried to partner people up based on Enneagram, and I think it would work. Just career path, it was a little difficult because we're going through all the education, but no, you're on the same train of thought we were. It's definitely a good way to kind of judge it. And in career path, like Jill said, most people were challengers, But there were some very distinct patterns and everything else. There were a lot of peacekeepers or peacemakers. So, putting those kinds of people together would have been great.
What are you, Aaron? I forgot.
She's an instigator. No, I mean she's an investigator.
I am an investigator. Yeah,
you're a 5.
An instigator too, though. So
yeah, you're an instigator. Where's that one on the list? That's a 6.5. No, just kidding.
All kidding aside, Justice, this train of thought that you're going through and the fact that you care is like 90% of the battle, man. You're gonna do just great.
Great, thank you. And I just said I don't want to take too much of the board right here, but just one quick zing question. It's completely different order or direction, I guess. But would you rather do, if you're going to make the same amount of money, right? Would you rather do I'm sure you're going to say less deals for with more profit, but at first, would you rather look at doing as many deals as you can to hit a certain number or revenue amount, or still at this point, from what you guys are saying, do a smaller amount of transactions to hit that revenue point? Particularly, I'm just saying if I'm trying to hit a certain revenue, say you go after 50K to 80K plus properties, you just do like 20 to 40 of those things a year, and opposed to doing a bunch of smaller deals. And yeah, you could create a system and build a whole team out of that. But I could just have a lot less people and that are more quality orientated and do less transactions. And do you think that would be better just to focus on that, especially at first? Like, say you're just brand new, you're just starting out.
Stephen, tell them about what we talked about the other day when you owned the office building.
I don't remember. I do have a good way to answer this question, though. Go ahead, Joe, and I'll follow you.
You had that well-oiled machine.
Yeah, so that's my answer. My answer is if you the how you send the mail out and the system that you put in place will dictate whether or not one is good or not. But I'll tell you what will happen because of my experience. You're going to end up doing both. If you sit down with a pad of paper and a pen, and you say, I'm going to send out 1,500 units of mail every single week or every month or whatever the number is for you, and I'm going to do it in a place where I'm confident it's going to work. Just follow the Land Academy methodology. The calls are going to start coming in. Eventually, you're not going to be able to do this yourself. So someone's either going to take the calls, or you're going to take the calls, or you're going to outsource the mail to concierge data or whatever. And at some point, you're going to have 4 or 5 or 8 deals that are in front of you, and you're going to be forced. All of these steps are forced. And it starts with forcing yourself to send the mail out, to find an equity partner, a money partner who you get along with. And so you're going to start doing a bunch of deals every month. And then eventually you're going to do bigger deals. And so I don't think that you should be choosing this up front. I think all you should be concentrating on is going through the program and finding a great place to send mail and actually sending it out, and then dealing with what happens.
I was just definitely just curious on that. Now, I've been doing it for some time, and I've just been sending a mail out, I guess, and I wasn't really looking at doing higher numbers. But
well, you're thinking about it because you just asked the question, so you're thinking about doing it, right? It's forcing you to
I'm already doing it, and what I mean is, it's almost to the point where it's like I'd rather send out more mail, even with a lower response rate, just to get less deals, but I get way higher profit, and my team can handle it more. We can focus on a smaller, cleaner transactions where I don't really have to do any paperwork. Just let the title company do it. And I was really just loving what you two were saying. I think it was 2 Clubhouse calls ago or something like that. Just get a high end property, purchase it, send it to your broker or realtor, and then repeat. And it's like 3 steps. I was just thinking how much I love that. It just eliminates.
Justice, if you could see me right now, I'm doing a happy dance. That's exactly my thing. And think about this. You could be wildly successful, make millions a year doing exactly that with having one transaction coordinator sitting next to you.
That's what
They
we do.
stay in their desk. You leave and you're going having fun and all the time because you're not having to work that hard.
Great.
We have a
Yeah.
staff of 2 people on the land side.
Wow.
Basically 2 people, and we never do self close transaction. We buy for between 30 and 50 and sell for between 80 and 120. I think they're part time, but they're paid like they're full time, but they work part time. And we'll net more than $2 million this year just in land.
Perfect. And it's just so many less transactions. I was just going about this. I don't know, it's like a weird echo, but going about this business of just doing as many transactions as I can and building a team to handle that. And just nasty self closings, nasty situations that I ran into now it's biting me. I still made a good amount of revenue, but not. I can't imagine myself doing this for that long and taking the result by number or volume approach. It's just horrible. And so I appreciate everything you two have talked about today.
I mean, what you're describing is you got to a point where you're unhappy now. So you did all this stuff. You did what you're supposed to do. You're having some success with it, and you're unhappy with what you have to do every day. So you're moving on, which is exactly what I described earlier. I'm not gonna go through a phone book and cold call. That's an extreme. Every time Jill finds a real estate agent, a south side real estate agent that she loves, our income goes up dramatically. And so we just found one in a market that we love, and our lives are changing because of it.
That's amazing. Thank you too. Appreciate all your time.
You're welcome. Hey, Aaron Brinkman, I'm trying to get you up here, so I'm going to click it one more time. If you want to still ask us a question before we wrap up today, I'd love to talk to you. Did it work?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Well, I heard you talking about the Enneagram, so I had to chime in.
Oh, please. What are you?
I'm a 5.
Oh. Oh. Are you a more instigator or more investigator?
It depends. It depends on the scenario, but probably more investigator, yeah.
That's cool. So what do you think about that and the way you run your business?
Well, just kind of a backstory. I've been in sales for about 7 years, and as a 5, it's not necessarily the right fit, so I can do it. I've gotten really good at it. But have you gotten into the tri-types at all?
No. Oh, wait. Where it comes with you're a this, but you have a sub in this and this. Yes. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, about 5 years ago,
7, but I have a bit of a 8 and a bit of a something else. Yeah.
Yeah, probably a wing 8, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, we hired this sales girl from Detroit, and she introduced it to us, and we've been using it ever since with our salespeople and training them. And so yeah, basically there are 3 triads. There's the head, the gut, and the heart, and everyone has a number from each of those triads. And so for me, I'm a 5-3-9, which the 3 is really what allows me to, I guess, to move forward in a sales position and answering the phone and all that, because the 3 is the achiever. So I really want that. And then the 9 is what gives me peace at the end of the day.
Okay, you're gonna love it. I just looked at mine and I'm gonna crack up. So I'm a 7 first, and then I'm a 3 and an 8.
Okay.
Those are my wings. So yeah, I got that book too, and I dug into it. That's what got Steven involved, because he's like, "What are you reading and what are you talking about?" Because when I first I read the book before I took the test. I was convinced I was a 1. I really thought, I'm a 1. I'm too picky and all this stuff. I'm a perfectionist because that's what people tell that maybe because that's the one little trait that comes out so much in our household that people just say, knock it off. You're a little too much. It doesn't have to be that perfect. Steven right now is going, yep. So I was convinced that that's my strongest thing, which it's not at all. Thank goodness. But I still have to keep a handle on that, obviously. But yeah, I love it. And I love this conversation because there's so many things that, about everything, running your own business. You need to know who you are, what you're good at, right? And get the other stuff done. And then when you're hiring, like Justice is doing, I need to look at who I'm hiring and take this serious so I find a good fit.
Yeah, it's the Enneagram's amazing for that. You can really dissect someone, and that's my 5 coming out.
Perfect. On the bottom of my list is 5 and 6. I like
keeping
down my scores. It's so funny.
Well, so 7 is connected to 1, and it's also connected to 5. So, the 5 is the growth number for 7. So, like once you move through all the steps of health, through that, then you can work on the growth stages of 5.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. How do you have this memorized, Aaron? You're good.
Yeah, like I said, I've been really involved with it for 5 years, and we use it a lot.
That's super cool.
We should do a whole thing on this. I still have a job, so I use it. I talk about it every day, probably.
I think that it's interesting because just what I said to do, my girlfriend just told me that my tri-types altogether is the most least emotional type combined. And
what is it?
I think it's 359. And then
yeah, that's what I am, but just a little bit flipped.
And then I was just saying that about the customer service. The sales rep I'm hiring. He has a different type of way of going about it. And I was just mentally noting that. I didn't know that was the Enneagram would actually show you that, but I'm not that involved into it. But it's interesting how it could help in that aspect, and just to know people more in the onboarding and hiring process, even training probably.
Yeah, and what's great is it doesn't pigeonhole you really. It just allows you to see your patterns.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is so good. All right. Because we're gonna bump into our recording time. I want, you know what? Totally serious, Aaron. I'm gonna have Brooklyn reach out to you later, and we should have a whole little talk on this.
That'd be great. I'd love
really
that.
Good. Would you do it?
Yeah, I can talk about it all day.
I know that Aaron is looking for a Jill too. So.
What's that?
You're looking for a Jill too.
I am. Yeah.
Thank you. All right, watch for an email from my team, and we're gonna figure out how we can we'll either do another clubhouse chat on this, or maybe we'll just do something else. I don't know. I'll talk to Steven too, because we could really go into this, and it would help a lot of people.
Great. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Thank you very much, Steven. Do you have anything else you want to add before I kind of wrap us up here?
One single point. I really love this type of discussion, and here's why. Buying and selling real estate, we've been doing it for a long time, and I realize there's new people that have just heard about it and just heard about this land thing who need the core education. We provide that. But from a lifelong success standpoint, this is stuff that we're talked about today really, really, really matters. So that component should not be left out of Land Academy. And so I know we have a lot of people that are on this call that are top that run our departments. Would really like to explore more of this because I think it's very, very helpful, especially for people who are already successfully buying and selling land.
Ding, ding. That was perfect. Go, Justice.
That would be great to see you guys implement this even further, and just so people to understand all of that through how it directly relates to land investing. That would be actually amazing for people to identify their strengths immediately, straight off the bat, and they can go find people just to be successful in the first year running up. It's a great idea.
I also think that it'd be easier for us to teach. So if we have a group of people that are brand new and they need to know about Excel, I understand that. It's in an isolated group that we're going to teach it really differently. But if we know people are successfully on a monthly basis buying and selling dirt, then we'll steer the conversation more to what like today.
Yeah, it's interesting because that's what, because I'm looking for a jack, right? That is what gravitated me towards Land Academy, is because of the detail orientation towards pinning counties against each other and just the Excel file training. I actually grew like tremendously just from this program, even though I already knew the basic fundamentals of how to do this.
That's awesome.
Join us next week where we talk about Justin's girlfriend.
Poor Justin. That's great. Who's listening, by the way? This is awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. This is our Thursday. This is our crazy day. So I'm going to put the invite out there too, by the way. Is it 2 o'clock? Yeah, 2 o'clock Pacific time. Yes.
2 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Mountain, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Okay, that's it. We hold our closed environment webinar, Zoom call with all of our members. If you want to be a fly on the wall and say, okay, what the heck are you guys talking about? And I want to see some of these deals that you're doing, and I want to hear these questions and what's really going on with you guys. We'd love to have you. So just send a note to support@landacademy.com and you will get a one-time invite to join our call today. Otherwise, you could find us here on the first and third Thursday of the month. Follow the Land Investing group or club on Clubhouse. And then also check out, we have a 6-year, going on 7-year podcast now. There's a lot of episodes, like 1,600 and change episodes on the Land Academy show. Thank you, Stephen, and thank you to my team, and thank you to everyone who raised your hand. This was always turns into a phenomenal conversation. And I hope everyone has a wonderful Thanksgiving and safe travels.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joe.